And welcome into our overtime segment here at SportsSource.tv. Appreciate you being with us this afternoon. This is where we answer a lot of the questions you sent on Twitter, as many as we can. We're joined by VFL's Shazon Bradley, Sterling Hinton, Daniel Hood, Jacob Gillum. You're not going to find this kind of a panel anywhere. I mean, you got a line right in front of you, Sterling. Big boys all over.
Make it happen, baby. Like, give me 3 seconds with the rock. Something's going to happen.
Let's just jump right into this. Someone sent in a question. There's a rumor that Butch Jones and Mike DeBoard went and met with Watson Brown to talk about the way he's using a 2-quarterback system. I've not heard that until this. We talked about it before the show. No one here had heard that rumor, so I don't think it's true. But, Daniel, you had an interesting point.
I said, when you got Tim Tebow and you got Chris Lee, why not go ahead and use it? And, I remember back freshman year when we were playing Ole Miss and we had a guy get hurt. But, yeah, he had played through it. And Kiffin said, if you're hurt, pull yourself out because you actually hurt the team. And I think it goes back to with Josh Dobbs against North Texas. If you're too hurt to really help the team win, it's not a pride thing. Just put the other guy in because he's good enough to go win the game.
The question is, and we just don't know if Quentin Normandy is good enough to go win the game at this point. Doesn't mean he's not. It just means we don't know enough at this point. However, here's the question. Somebody feeds right into that, so I'll get everybody else's take. Should Tennessee have rested Dobbs all day yesterday and started Dormady?
No.
Okay. I don't think.
Can't do that. You can't take that continuity out of the offense like that. You just can't do that. It sounds in practical, in theory, it sounds right. Practicality you can't do it.
All right.
I think what happened yesterday was just a situation where a guy played hurt, but we still won the game.
Former offensive lineman Jacob Gillum, your thoughts?
I don't think you pull a guy like that. I mean, he's the leader of your team, and it's all about, I've sat out a game before. When you come back, you're a little rusty. Everybody is. Practice isn't like a game. You have to play a little bit of a game, even if it's just 3-4 drives. You can't just sit him the whole game.
All right, I had somebody that tweeted me that Dormady is clearly the better quarterback of the two. When I said, well, he was kind of slow on his reads a little bit yesterday, and he got run down from behind by a lineman, so he might not be the athlete that Dobbs is. The guy responded, handcuffed, meaning the coaches put him in, but they handcuffed him.
Well, whoever tweeted that question
there? We don't want to be toward our viewers. Remember, they're my viewers.
Ben drinking Ripple.
Okay.
I think he's got the potential to be a better quarterback. But as for a leader of the offense, I think Dobbs is hands down the better guy right now.
Dormady's arm looks fantastic.
Oh, it's incredible.
But here's the thing, and we've said this before. People need to get ready. I keep having people, will he transfer? Is he going to transfer? You have Garantano lined up. Sharon Jones, go look at his video. It's high school tapes. Go look at his stuff. And then you've got the kid in 2017. You're going to lose some of these guys. Some of them are going to leave. You're not going to have 3, 4. Ohio State's about the only school I've ever seen where 3 5-star quarterbacks all stay. All right. Somebody says they have a feeling that Butch Jones is okay with just winning 6 games.
Cancel Christmas. There's no way in the world. He's not even happy with just winning 8. Trust me, our coach wants to go undefeated, and he prepares that way.
Anybody
I
else?
think this goes back to when we were talking fame and blame earlier, and I was talking about his focus on things. He cares so much about the program and getting it back to winning 12 games and things like that. How's he going to do it? He focuses on every single little detail around the program. Anything that could potentially hurt it, help it, he's going to know about it. And so when it comes to winning games, if it's talking to the media and get things to be more positive to get better recruits in, that's what he's going to do. Or if it means putting in an extra hour in film study, he'll do it. And I think it just goes to the drive, and so that's why I gave him fame in that.
All right, Shazon Bradley, question for you. And I'll give you this one. Somebody said Tennessee needs to apologize for that win yesterday.
No, a win's a win. I mean, let me tell you something. It's one thing about the University of Tennessee is, regardless of where they go, their opponent is going to give their best effort, and that's what we saw yesterday. And we done what we had to do to come out with a win. That's it.
I'll tell you this, I didn't get many wins in my career. I'll apologize for you give me 12 more. I'll apologize for every one of them.
Here's the other way to mention that is a terrible North Texas terrible team. However, that is the second team in a row now. Tennessee's played an interim coach.
Yep.
Where we can sit there and say, oh, look how they got crushed by Portland State. That's a different coach. That guy wasn't coaching yesterday. Now,
Great point.
Does that mean Tennessee shouldn't have blown them? No, that's not what I'm saying. But you have to factor that in. The same way Sean Elliott came in with Carolina last week and was playing with house money. With 4th downs, fake kick, whatever. We pull it out on stops.
Who was Buster Douglas before he knocked out Mike Tyson?
Nobody.
I think a thing to make note of, too, is Texas A&M didn't beat Western Carolina the way we did either. And so, you know, they only beat them, I think it was 41-14, and their last 14 came in fourth, if I'm not mistaken.
Next one, if the Vols play well at Missouri on their field turf, will Tennessee go to field turf at Neyland Stadium? I don't see that happening.
No way.
I hope not.
I really hope not.
I especially don't
hate
see
turf.
it happening because people are now questioning whether or not those rubber pellets are carcinogenic. There's a concern, so I don't see you putting something in if you think there's a possibility you might have to rip it back up.
And we've had so many injuries this year as it is. Turf just breeds more injuries, and I hated playing on turf every time we had to. I prefer grass, and there's no reason to change Neyland Stadium. You know, the perfect playing atmosphere it is to turf.
For 20 years, it was green and perfect from September or August right on through November. It wasn't like Kentucky where it would die at the end of the year, which they had to change up there. So it can be done here. They just have to figure out how to do it and who's going to do it. Next question, is Dobbs really hurt? Or is this just an excuse?
Come on, man.
Is he really hurt?
One thing football players do not do is fake injuries. It won't happen. It won't happen.
If he's your best weapon and you're the coach, would you intentionally holster him? No. You'd be running him all over the place. The way to tell if he's hurt, how many times did they call that power run right up the middle? Didn't call it yesterday at all,
Nope.
did they? Not once. So, okay. Is lack of maturity a factor in not closing out games?
I think so.
Yeah, we're still a young team.
Okay. Good enough.
And we're not, and the depth is not as deep as we've seen in the past. In the past, we're 2 and 3 people deep in these positions. We don't have that right now.
What did we say back before the season started? Well, it was the media guys, so you didn't say it. But we said it. And you can go back and watch it on the archives here on SportsSource.tv. We said this team has so much youth at that second and third level, you can't afford a ton of injuries this year. You've had them. And we said if there's one guy that can't get hurt, it's Josh Dobbs. And he's now been hurt. He played, but he was hurt against Arkansas on a knee brace and they didn't run him. He was hurt against Carolina, and he was certainly hurt yesterday. So
And still didn't have Kurt Magid.
you've caught no breaks. You've caught no breaks.
And we still have a chance of going 9-4 in the year if you take, you know, if we win the next 2 in a bowl game.
It's possible, yes.
And so, I mean, you think about that, and I think the easiest thing, go look at Florida last year when they had the amount of injuries they had.
Yep.
And you look at what their record was, they got their coach fired. The fact that Butch Jones has overachieved to get to a potential 8-4,
Yes.
potential 9-4, I mean, I think it's hands
That
down.
speaks
It's amazing
volumes.
what he's done.
Well, you've already
speaks
lost
volumes.
3 defensive linemen off a defensive line that's filled with youth anyway.
Oh,
Yep.
baby.
And not to mention the O-line.
Yeah, the O-line's decimated as well. All right. This person is disappointed in Mike DeBoer's lack of ability to adjust in games. You guys got my take in the second segment today. Is him not being in the booth for the last few years part of it? Maybe part of it. But I'm telling you, the big adjustment is Tennessee runs well in the first half. Team stack the box and run blitz in the second half. And if you're not completing passes over the top, they're going to keep doing it. Your offense stalls. I don't think it's play calls. I think part of it is you're not able to punish teams putting 8 in the box. I think that's a bigger issue. Agree? Disagree?
I agree.
Go ahead. It's all right.
The way I see it is this. You know, I've seen the chess game Coach DeBoer is playing with some of these play calls. He's setting them up for the big play. And when we get opportunity to make the big play, we've had drop balls. We've had a couple of fumbles. We've had a couple of situations where there should have been 6, and maybe there were just no play or minimized play. But I've seen the chess game he's playing to get the thwart that 8 in the box.
Dobbs is paying a price too because the preseason expectations were ridiculous. You had people saying, "Well, he's one of the top 15 quarterbacks in the country," and everybody that said that to me, I thought, "So you've watched all 127 FBS quarterbacks, have you? You've scouted them all?" People didn't have any idea what Paxton Lynch's name was at Memphis before the season. People build. He's still got a high ceiling. I like Josh Dobbs.
Yep.
I think when he's healthy and he's running, he's tremendous. But when he's not running and his inaccurate arm becomes an issue, that's the problem. But so many people are extra angry because he was built up. They thought in their heads, "Oh, we got a Heisman guy." No.
I think the thing to note too, in the games that he passed better, you know, it was 44 to 61 yards, which doesn't look like a big difference. But that's almost a 50% increase in your rush yards.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when he's running better, it's obvious that his passing is better.
And
It holds safeties and corners more.
It was 14 of 45 rushing versus 11 for 61. So it's not just the yardage,
Yeah.
it's the yards per carry.
Yeah.
So last one, and this one, Sterling, I'll let you start it. I like this question. How accurate can a quarterback be when he's not very confident in the O-line he's playing behind?
Well, that's a great question right there, because you want to be confident, you want to be calm when you're delivering the ball to your receivers, because sometimes you have very small windows. But a lot of that has to do with a lot of continuity that Josh has been having to compensate for also this year. He's not with his first team receivers. He's with receivers, in most cases, he's with 4, 5, and 6. So, continuity is important when it comes to completing a pass play.
Jacob Gillen.
As an offensive lineman, you have to make the quarterback feel comfortable in the pocket. That's your job. When you pass protect, you don't want to give up pressure by letting the D lineman run them into you. And with the youth and the guys being mismatched positions, we've struggled with that a little bit. Now, have we just let him get massacred? No. Is he afraid for his life back there? Not at all. But we have to do a better job, just like every O-line in the country, at minimizing hits and minimizing pressure.
Okay, very quickly, Shazan and Daniel, very quick, like 30 seconds each. Tennessee's defense looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. Did a good job against Kentucky for the most part. Played well against Alabama for most of that game. Is the defense improving that much, or is it just the schedule is starting to ease with Kentucky, South Carolina, North Texas? You buying the defensive improvement, Shazan?
I'm giving them the improvement, and I think also your competition is going down. But the good thing is that you're not playing down to them like we're worried about. In the games that you should be controlling, you should be shutting them out. You've done it.
Okay.
And the biggest thing about it is they're learning. They're beginning to see these situations when the guard pulls, this happen. When the tackle stays here, this happen. When the backup, this happen. They're beginning to read and figure out what's going on and go into the offseason, get bigger, faster, stronger. We come out next year, we ought to have a good defense.
All right, always good to have Shazan, Sterling, Daniel, Jacob with us. Somebody else tweeted me and asked about scripting plays. DeBoard can script. They do well when they script the plays. I wrote about that. If you're watching this on sportsource.tv, and you should be, then scroll down. Keep going down. At the bottom of this page, you'll see the news section. I wrote a big thing on that late this week about scripting plays and what I think that's being overblown right now. I'll explain that in the piece. Read it at sportsource.tv. We'll see you next Sunday morning, 11 a.m. right here, WATE 6 in Knoxville.